For my part of the presentation, I'm going to be covering what is the end user experience desired and is there a monetization approach. So the graphic on the left kind of goes over what consumers are looking at when it comes to sustainability. We're seeing a green trend happening, and consumers want products that are sustainable. They want companies that are sustainable, companies that do care about the environment. So, on the graphic on the left, it shows a contribution being that 50% of sales growth between the years of 2013 to 2018. Now, when you compare that to like traditional product growth, it's at 4 times the growth rate. So it is growing very fast over a short period of time. It's important to note that it's that around like 2018 they're only holding this market is only holding about 17% of the market share. But like I said, going back to the previous point, it is growing so fast and so rapidly. I would not be surprised that it's getting a bigger piece of the market share year after year. So it is a growing and more emerging, blowing up market to really get into, because consumers are more worried about the environment and basically want their companies more worried about the environment as well. The graphic on the bottom right kind of goes over a survey that I found that basically got 30,000 consumers worldwide. A lot of it was in Asia and in Europe. Basically, going over with them what are the kind of the downsides to green products and things like that, sustainable products, or what are these barriers that might be there from a consumer standpoint. So the top barriers that we saw was price premiums. A lot of times when you're looking at sustainable products or products that are eco-friendly, they usually have a cost, and that was usually affecting a lot of consumers' ability to gain access to those products. So price is definitely something that affects consumers. Your more lower to medium income are not going to have the access and the funds to buy something that is eco-friendly if it has a premium price tag, which usually they do. Lack of awareness and trust. There could be trust issues between the consumer to the business and the business to, in a way, to the consumer by not being able to translate a proper message, or the consumer not being able to really understand the message, vice versa. So there could be some miscommunication, which basically can allow for a disconnect and, basically creates a barrier for consumers to purchase, more environmentally friendly products. Some top issues that they found. A lot of it was social issues. So, for example, the first one, which is social causes can gain or lose customers. So, for example, if you're a company that has been traditionally a certain style of way, and then all of a sudden you decide to go eco-friendly, there is a possibility you could lose a lot of your customers. And that's due to the fact that your customers weren't used to you being a certain way, and now you're pushing an agenda. There's a lot of social aspects that play into companies going into the social realm of pushing an agenda. Another thing to look out for these businesses was consumers not speaking out. There's kind of a stigma with some consumers when it comes to social things, whether that be eco-friendly or the company having a certain stance on something. A lot of times that they found that companies that were pushing these types of agendas, consumers were less likely to talk to others about them purchasing those products because of the stigma of the social causes that they're pushing. So that could also cause some social issues for a business, but also for the consumer as well. And then consequences for the brand itself. If you were non-sustainable and then all of a sudden you start pushing a sustainable approach, you could lose customers, kind of as previously stated, and also you can affect your employees as well. Different stances for companies could be seen positively by your employees, and also can be seen negatively. And it could, and also, I mean, there's all kinds of consequences like lawsuits and things like that. So. But the one thing I wanted to hit on, especially, is green computing. Is that basically cloud computing is a great way of green computing. Any type of virtualization, basically where you're getting rid of physical servers and replacing them with virtual servers. Virtual servers, there's so many cost benefits. There's less power required. There's less physical materials since you're not actually storing physical servers in a building. There is no need for the cost and the CO2 emissions that are basically made to make those physical servers. They no longer exist since everything is virtual. And then there's applications in all types of businesses. There's different types of cloud computing systems, the SaaS, the PaaS, the IaaS. There's different types of things that can have their applications to your business or what you're really looking for. The top graphic on the right, just it's kind of a general graphic that kind of gives an explanation of how cloud computing really, makes it green, and basically how it saves the environment. There's also a little graphic on the bottom left of it that basically shows the potential business and how much money that could be made in the years to come as consumers become more conscious and more aware of their environment and care more about it. The businesses might start to invest more and more into cloud computing. The bottom right analytic, which is awesome, by Microsoft, really shows the impact of CO2 emissions from switching from large scale systems that are in a building to virtualization completely. It shows from basically the different levels and how much CO2 is emitted in these different levels. It's a great depiction because it also goes into different types of cloud computing systems that they offer, and it really gives the consumer an insight onto how virtualization through like cloud computing really saves the environment. The top right analytic kind of goes into how cloud computing, the market size and how they expect it to grow, after 2020, every year it kind of exploding. It's important to note that I believe this analytic goes up to 2019. A lot of analytics that are showing IT and what's going on when it comes to like cloud computing and things like this. There's a big little downturn in 2020 thanks to coronavirus, but we're seeing a big rebound come 2021 once the vaccine is out and business starts exploding and people are pumping money back into different research and technologies like this. But the cloud computing is valued at 266 billion in 2019, and that's at 14.9 compounding annual growth rate between the years of 2020 to 2027. So these are obviously estimations, but it just shows you how big this market is going to get. And what's cool about this analytic is that it also shows the comparison between other markets that are out there. And IT is just going to get bigger and bigger every year. And as technology gets better and better, it's just going to make systems like cloud computing more accessible, cost efficient, and easier for businesses to adopt, and which also helps them become eco-friendly. Something important to some important aspects are that supporting technologies will always allow for the rise in cloud computing and its growth through Internet of Things, edge computing, 5G, AI, and machine learning. All these different things as the years go on are getting better and faster, which basically allows for more cost-effective cloud computing, which makes it more cost-effective for businesses. And which basically makes it so that the environment is really impacted in a way with the virtualization of like cloud computing. The bottom left analytic really just shows kind of what's going on in 2020, and specifically with cloud computing. Some of the top competitors So we see Amazon is number one with a 33% of the market share. Azure, I apologize about the pronunciation, is about 18%. And then the number three would be Google Cloud with 9%. So Q2 of 2020 global cloud infrastructure revenues are just over $30 billion. So that's very important and that's very huge. It shows that, there is a lot of money being made off of cloud computing. Virtualization of servers is really blowing up. It's a big industry and it's also paying off. I mean, the annual cloud infrastructure is looking, like it says in the little analytic in the bottom left, is $111 billion. That's a crazy number to think of. With the advent of more technology, cloud computing is a growing industry year after year. That's just basically stating that, year after year, and as the previous points have stated, that, technology is going to get better and companies are going to get more savvy and they're going to adopt these, services, cloud computing, which is going to let them become more eco-friendly. And just some last points to go over, just for as a business in general, businesses that are adopting a lot of these cloud computing systems, they're going to notice lower energy bills. Virtualization is a huge point of this. You know, the fact that you can remove physical structures from your building and basically use virtual structures are always going to be way more cost effective and way better for the environment. There's less waste. The more you start switching to computer systems, you're basically going to run into, a scenario where you're going to use less paper, less things like that. I mean, even the advent of sending paperless bills, it can save so much paper, which helps the environment. So as more technology grows, we can basically eliminate a lot of these more manual processes that we use in businesses. And then also reduce office expenses just in general. Digital systems instead of paper, pencils, and paper, kind of previously stated. And less power expense, which I think I hit once or twice. But, with virtualization, you're saving a lot of money on power. You're not running any of these towers inside of your building, which cost money, which are running 24/7. It's now all virtual. So there's a lot of energy cost savings with going green. Thank you.